Hello, Chooms. Thea here. So, we've talked about the different kinds of gear that you should get for, starting out in Cyberpunk RED. However, I do understand there's some of you guys who have that need to just go into the combat zone and just go rip it up. So today, we're going to be talking about some of your ranged options. And we'll also discuss melee options down the road when we also talk about how melee combat works. However, today we're going to be talking about some of the advantages and disadvantages that come with some of the different weapons out there for your ranged needs. So, if you were to go and open up the core rulebook, if you look over on page 171 in the core rulebook, you should see this chart right here. This chart is the information that you need to know for every category of weapon that you'll find standard. Yes, there's excellent qualities, poor qualities, and exotics. I'm just going to follow standards just to simplify things for now. And then we'll talk about how some exotics might work down the road. But starts, we're going to just kind of cover each of the different weapon categories and probably where you might find the most use for these. So first things first, we're going to start with the humble medium pistol. The medium pistol, it's the cheapest weapon that you can get, has a decently high magazine capacity. However, it's single shot damage. There could be more that's left to be desired with only a measly 2d6. And that would struggle against anyone wearing light armor jack, which is a pretty standard and fairly affordable armor for most beefed up edge runners. But for most other gonks out there that are probably just out in leather or in Kevlar, a medium pistol will probably do the trick. It has a rate of fire of 2, only requires one hand, and it is concealable. The medium pistol, if you just need a little sidearm or something to take to an area where you know armor is not going to be an issue, such as if you're just going to do an assassination and you need to take out a very, very squishy target, a medium pistol might be able to do the trick. Maybe a heavy pistol would probably be a little more recommended. But if you need something cheap, easy to throw away, medium pistol, that will fix all your problems when it comes to a sidearm. However, my personal preference and my beloved first choice is the heavy pistol. The heavy pistol, it does 3d6 damage. It does only have a capacity of 8 rounds compared to the 12 of the medium pistol. But it still has that rate of fire too. Requires one hand, costs 100 eds, and it is concealable. And the reason why I always recommend this as a starter weapon for any edge runner is because of the simple fact it does a very solid amount of damage. It can probably get past light armor jack, but I would not count on this for dealing with anybody that's wearing medium armor jack or better. Just because of the simple fact you are going to be probably needing something with a little more firepower. Next down the line, though, is the very heavy pistol. The very heavy pistol is always a second choice that's pretty good, especially for anyone that specializes in handguns. Because if you don't miss, you don't need to worry about that rate of fire too, because heavy pistol hands out serious damage at a nice 4d6 a punch. And that's actually, well, 4d6 is you're about hitting about as hard as a Borg is brawling, because you still have to ablate, you still have to get through the armor and deal with ablation. But you do a very, very hefty amount of damage. You have a magazine of 8, it's rate of fire 1, one hand, however, not concealable. Not concealable unless it's tech upgraded. Then it can become concealable. Then we have the SMGs. Now the SMGs, you would probably if you're going to get an SMG, you're getting that to auto fire. The standard SMG, it is concealable, does 2d6 damage, has a magazine of 30, rate of fire 1. If you're using an SMG a single fire, you might as well just go get a medium pistol. Call it a day. Costs 100 ETs, just like everything else, all the way up to heavy SMG. Heavy pistol, very heavy pistol, SMG and heavy SMG, affordable, and have some pretty decent firepower behind them. However, SMGs and heavy SMGs offer auto fire 3. Now, what this means is for every point past the DV, you get to multiply the 2d6 you roll for damage on an auto fire attack up to times 3. So, imagine rolling 2 6s. Not only do you get that crit, but that 12 damage turns into 36 damage. You could probably kill most enemies with 36 damage, because I've seen some of the higher health pools for your middle of the road enemies be at 35. But 36 damage is a lot of damage. Your heavy SMG, much like the standard SMG, but it is not concealable, and it has a magazine of 40 compared to 30. So that means you get 1 extra auto fire burst, because auto fire does take 10 bullets every time you fire. So, looking at all these here on the cheaper end, some advantages with these is some of them are small enough they're concealable, and you can take them into places that normally you can't take your assault rifle or your shotgun into. And your pistols are going to be fantastic for up close and personal combat. If you're dealing with close quarters and you don't have any points at shoulder arms, but you have it in handgun, take a heavy pistol. Take a very heavy pistol if you're feeling frisky. If you want to auto fire, but you're probably dealing with like fighting in the alleyways, the SMG is a fantastic choice for this. And looking at all these different options, it really kind of comes down to how much you want to spend, what your playstyle is going to be like. Because if you get SMG, put those points towards auto fire, maybe keep a few in handgun. If you go towards handgun, just put them in a handgun and get the biggest, heaviest hitting pistol you can get. And then just pop some headshots at close range. So, with those out of the way, I would like to move on to some of our bigger options here. We have the shotgun. The shotgun is a fantastic close quarter combat choice. You have 2 standard types of ammunition. You have your shotgun slugs, which do 5d6 damage a hit. And then you also have shotgun shells. Shotgun shells are kind of in a sense like a mini explosive. They do an AoE where it hits a 9 square out in front of the user. So 3x3 square with bottom center being in front of the user, you hit everything in that area with the shotgun shell. Standard magazine holds 4 in the tube, and also requires 2 hands, not concealable, and it's 500 eddies. You pay a little bit more of a hefty price for being able to hand out that much damage on a single shot. However, compared to the other ranged options, the shotgun is much better at close quarters, but it can carry you, if you do well at shoulder arms, out to a modest distance. We'll talk about distance here in a bit. Assault rifles, if you are very much a mid-range combatant, you want to hit them before they can even get close to you. The assault rifle is a fantastic choice. Allows you to stay close to your chooms, but at the same time, you're able to lay down some very, very heavy fire support. You can do up to a ×4 multiplier on your auto fire, which I've seen somebody actually get a 48 on an auto fire. It's very devastating. I actually had an encounter end very quickly because of it. And also, of course, you can use suppressive fire to send everyone running. Now, the assault rifle's magazine is a little weird. You have 25 in the magazine, so that allows you 5 single shots and 2 full auto bursts. And of course, it does come at 500 eddies. The sniper rifle. I've had some people play as snipers in my games, and as long as you are communicating with your GM what you want, sniper rifles can be a fantastic addition to your crew. What I have found is they are very, very good for helping you find targets ahead of time, and if you really want to shorten an assassination, just take the sniper rifle, have a couple people out on the ground to do any cleanup work if needed. You have 4 pretty hefty bullets in the chamber, or not in the chamber, but in the magazine, and all you have to do is fire. The downside, though, with sniper rifles, you better have a pistol with you. You better have some points in handgun as well, or even a shotgun nearby, because sniper rifles, they are best at very, very long ranges. Close-up range, you would have to be very, very, very good in order to get anything at point-blank range with a sniper rifle. Archery. With bows and arrows, and also, well, bows and crossbows. You do 4d6 damage. You don't have to worry about the reload action. You just put another round of ammunition in, depending on how much you have in your quiver. And then, it's only $100. Very quiet. And some of the arrows that you can get for, special ammunition, kind of impressive. And then also, with bows and arrows, you do best probably alongside your SMG users who are doing auto fire. But you can still hit from quite a good distance if you get really, really, really good at archery. Plus, there is a special assault rifle that uses the archery skill, and that's the Eagle Tech Survivalist from Black Chrome. Again, I won't get into exotic weapons too much, but archery does have its place, because the Survivalist also has a crossbow on it. And then finally, for your really heavy standard weapons, we'll cover Borg weapons when we cover exotic weapons, but for your heavy weapons skill, this is going to be where you are doing damage to a big area of a 5x5 square, hitting everything in that distance. Your grenade launchers, you can even put a grenade launcher on the underside of a shoulder arm. You get 2 rounds in a standard grenade launcher, and it does 66 damage to an entire 5x5 area. The rocket launcher does 8d6, but you need to be a little bit further away from your target. And both of these come in at a whopping 500 eds each as well. And their ammunition costs 100 eddies a shot. That grenade you fired, that's 100 eds. That rocket you fired, that's 100 eds. And that's for your standard ammunition. So, when you look at heavy weapons, it is a fantastic use of skills, but it is also considered a difficult skill alongside auto fire. You have to invest twice as much improvement points to improve your skills in there, but they pay out so well. Also, I would advise, if you're doing heavy weapons, make sure you have some other options on hand, because you can hurt your allies. So if the GM allows friendly fire, which I allow friendly fire, you gotta pay attention to where your friends are. But with that in mind, let's look at where all these different ranges come up, because that is a very, very, very important aspect to when you are considering your weapons. So I would like to first refer to single shot. We'll talk about auto fire in a moment. But single shot, again, like I mentioned, your pistols and your shotguns which pistol includes medium pistol, heavy pistol, and very heavy pistol. Fantastic at point blank range, and they scale up just about the same, but shotguns fall off. Shotguns and pistols become really ineffective after about 12 meters. So I would say have something on hand if you do want to shoot from a distance, or just be really, really good with the weapon you use. Your SMGs for single shot, you'll want to be a little bit further back with them. And they seem to be pretty good between 0 to 25. However, as soon as you hit 26, this is when you want to switch over to the assault rifle. The assault rifle, at closer range, it's okay. But assault rifles are probably the most flexible in what role you can use them in. You can even do some long distance shooting, but I would say pushing it up to 100 meters can be a little rough. And that's when maybe instead you want your sniper rifle, which is fantastic from 51 to 100 meters. But you don't want to have a sniper rifle up close, because look at that. At point blank range with a sniper rifle, you are looking at a 30 DV. And part of why I think they have that as such a high DV for like some of these longer guns is because you are trying to fight with someone that's right up in your business, that they will be smacking that barrel away from them so they don't get hurt. Your bows and crossbows, again, probably about mid-range. Going to be pretty good in close quarter combat, especially if you need something stealthy. They do have a pretty good reach. However, as soon as it gets beyond 200 meters, it's not applicable. There's just some things that these weapons just are not capable of. Grenade launchers, I would say, be closer to the back row when you are fighting. And, aim high, aim far, and hit everything that's coming after your allies up on the front. I'd say the same also goes for the rocket launcher, but rocket launchers, if you get really, really good at it, you can send a rocket and they won't see it coming till last minute. So with that in mind, look at what your playstyle is going to be. Heavy weapons users, start off with the grenade launcher. It's a great start to see if this is something you want. For those that are specializing in CQB, look at your pistols. Look at your not your assault rifles, but your shotguns. If you want to do more kick down the door. Those that prefer a little more precision, maybe you want to do single shot on the assault rifle or the sniper rifle. Maybe the bow or crossbow. Now, for my SMG and assault rifle lovers, you guys have a second table to consider. The auto fire. Because auto firing, while dealing with your recoil and hitting the target, kind of makes things a little challenging from time to time. So, for SMGs, if you're inside a building and going through tight corners and whatnot, you'll be fighting maybe upwards to like 7 to 12 meters. The SMG is going to be fantastic. Sure, it only has a ×3 multiplier, but you'll have a pretty good chance of hitting yet. Assault rifles, well, if you're out in the streets having a firefight, the assault rifle is king when it comes to auto fire. You get that ×4 multiplier if you do really, really well with your shot, and your ranges aren't as up close, so you will not be dealing with melee as much. So with that in mind, folks, when you consider your weapons, just take a moment to look at your budget, see what you want, and don't worry, you can always save up and pick up something at that next night market. Maybe get some special ammunition to really boost how you play. At the end of the day, the game is more about experimenting with what works best for you. That way you can get that job done, get that scratch, and pay that rent. So, Until then, Chooms, I'll see you out there on the street another time. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.